Well, good afternoon and welcome to a wet and wild Wynyard for NWFL semi-final action. The rain has been teeming down all the way. It's going to be a classic wet weather final here between the Burnie Dockers and Wynyard Cats. There is no tomorrow for the loser. The winner to go on and face Ulverston. And it's going to be a tough physical slog in very heavy conditions. You can see the lake that's got a building in the middle of the ground here. Has been a couple of games on beforehand. It's been steadily raining all day now. Conditions going to be very tough. It'll be probably a lower scoring game, you'd imagine. Could be a real territory battle, but looking forward to calling this one. It's going to be a physical contest, that's for sure, as the Dockers meet the Cats. They've met 3 times this year in the regular season. The most recent of those meetings came in the final round of the regular season. Wynyard got the Chockies that day, 67-58, and helped see them to a 3rd place finish. Burnie, well, they ended up 5th for the year, but they did win the first 2 times these sides met back in round 4 and round 11. Differing success stories last week in the finals, with Burnie defeating Penguin comfortably to qualify. Wynyard fell to Ulverston, but they had the double chance and they're underway here as this one gets underway into the mud. And it's going to be tossed by Lets It Go a while, and anyone get the first clearance of the game. Spills out the way of French, reaching in and flicked out of there. Jackson drives it into the ground. It'll be tossed up. A tough physical slog out there today, no doubt about that. Ball pinballing around there. Free kick has been plucked, so opportunity for the first score of the game going here for Wynyard. It'll be Clay Griffiths. In these conditions, it's going to take something good. So he sends it on his way. Won't have the journey, and off hands through for a minor score. So Murray saunters out of fullback. Drives it along the outer wing. Spills away of Hodgetts. So there's a wrestle going on inside forward 50 at the moment. The snapshot through, and it's the opening goal of the game. Something from nothing there. Wynyard strike the first blow. Hodgetts the man. He delivers the opener. An instinctive snap. And Wynyard are on the board here. A perfect start for the Cats here. Tricky conditions, so Elphinstone wins that one down. Kicked forward there. Dockers, you can see the water kicking up off the surface as O'Halloran hands it across to Stretton. Stretton heads wide. Hodgetts tearing out after this one. Gathers and curls it around the corner, but straight to Kenny. Kenny drives the Dockers forward for the first time this afternoon. Spiked away from Dowling. And wide the ball goes. When you look to build through the middle, nice kick finds Griffiths, who sets them high inside 50. Intercept mark spilled back there, recovering O'Halloran. The boundary line will win out there. So back into play. Diving on top, Lee Faber. See at the back of the contest. Sprawling after it was Hodgetts. Umpire says kicking in danger. Free kick the way of the Dockers. Through the hands of Stretton. Umpire's whistle had sounded again. Free kick going the way of Brassendale. Sarge is a short one to Bakes. Foreman now. Deepest in defence for Wynyard. Just playing a bit of possession football. Plenty of space to do so. Not conditions conducive to a high possession game, but just getting a little bit of control and working their way up the ground here. But the mark is spilled, and that's the danger with trying to be precise on a day like this. McInnes sends the Dockers inside the forward 50. Brown gathers and just hacks it out of there. Finds the boundary line. How's the umpire going to adjudicate that one? Insufficient intent is the call. French stabs a short ball. Good service there, just spotted. The lead presented by Walters. And slides in. He'll go back for the Dockers' first scoring opportunity of the contest. From the angle, it's across the face. Off hands, it goes through for a minor score. So first behind of the day for the Dockers. And you look to build out of defence here. They'll go right down the corridor. Probing kick through the hands of Lyons. Absolute mudslop in the middle of the oval there. Towed away from Murray. Griffiths copping a blow. Oh, slip could prove costly. Shackleton back to his feet, then dispossessed, and the umpire pings him. As it kicks off again, it'll be 50 metres. Well, That'll gift them a goal here. Sharonega going to be marched right to the line. A bit of a spiteful opening here to this semi-final, but a good opening as far as the Cats are concerned. They've got the first two of the contest. Lead at 13-1 as Sharonega gets on the board. And 50 metres making an absolute certainty of it. Look there, Shackleton getting up, just losing a handle on the ball there. A day like this, tough to get up and get rid of it. In slippery conditions, you're just not going to have that much time. So Wynyard off to a strong start. Nine wins, 5 losses and 2 draws in what's been a remarkable NWFL season filled with draws and close finishes. One of those close finishes was the match between these two sides in round 11. A goal on the siren saw Burnie up by 6 points that day. Flicked out the back by Leifeber. Clearing kick taken away from Pringle, but he's going to get a high contact free kick against Shackleton paid. So Pringle tries to draw a man to him. Marshall under the pressure there, forced the errant kick. Gonanon was there. Dowling applying some pressure on the pain of 50. Rosards couldn't take it cleanly. Kubicki handles it not too far. Elphinston opts not to take possession. Now back to Shackleton. High up and under towards the goals and slapped through for a behind by Brasendale. The Cats again go direct down the corridor. Pretty good tactics. Spills out the back for Leifeber. He'll just go off the ground and tow it up towards his forward 50. So a couple of kicks and they transition it. Good tackle there on Patterson, but the free kick had already been blown in favour of the Dockers against Marley Brown. And Gonanon hits down the wing through the hands of Big Elphinston. Marshall dives in on this one. Taken away by Pringle. His kick intercepted. Running across is Josh Murray. Directing traffic is Murray. Guides it up towards the forward 50. Spills out the back. Sliding in Dowling. Half cleared there by Marshall. Not overly convincingly though. Turning into trouble was Walters. Just got fist to ball. Pressure comes from Stretton, and he cops a Falcon for his troubles, but they'll lock the ball inside forward 50, so he'll wear that one happily enough. Handball out. Knocked on. Comes to Marshall. Just chipped out of defence, searching there for Brown. Couldn't quite find him. He tossed in. Back into play. Neither ruck. Much of a play on that one. Bailey Bogue burrowing in after it. Here's Kubicki. Tackle laid there on Rebotham. Tough in the trenches early on. You'd expect nothing less in a game like this. Calls for ball from the crowd. Forced forward by Stretton, wearing one. Here a free kick Will be paid. He'll drive this one out of defence. Going to bring it under his spell, Dylan Smith. Spills to the outside. Now a chance for the Cats to counter back the other way. Clay Griffith. Can't work there. Level by Gonanon. Elphinston wins it down convincingly to French. Now Stretton launching it forwards. Just eludes the outstretched arm of Brasendale. Tossed back into play. Down by Marshall. Both of them turning into trouble. Worked it onto Stretton. Hurried kick out of congestion. O'Halloran sliding in after it, but taken away from him. Pinball's out of play for a ball in. Back into play. Socket off the ground, clearing defensive 50. Tough ball to handle. It's only going to get tougher as the afternoon wears on here. Rain has just not let up. It's got steadier all afternoon, all day really, starting with the women's match. The kick clears the congestion towards the middle of the ground. Smith in there. Patterson dives on top. Forces a stoppage. Marshall doing the ruck work. Pinballing around again. Both of them forced it back. Murray just slings the handball out under some duress. Bakes. Brought down in a crunching tackle. Big ruckman Elphinston. Hurried clear. Now an opportunity for Stretton, who launches from long range, but he's just offline. Composed kick there. Day where ball use proving difficult early on. Clean footy's going to be hard to come by, but Drozd's able to take the mark at half back, and he goes searching for Smith. Elphinston across to deal with that. And Marshall takes front position, wins it down. Busy early Stretton. Just flick that back over his head. He'll go chase this one down too, but the boundary line will win out. As Brasendale escorts him over the cricket covers there. In a cricket season, they would have been on this morning and would not have moved. It's been that sort of a day. Elphinston just outpointed there by Marshall. Stretton crashing through again. The handball is a good one to find Pringle in some space. He heaves it back into some traffic. Working up at the football, Brown. Cleaned out of there again by Pringle. A hurried kick inside 50. Almost worked for Howard. Josh Murray climbs in. And trying to spin free Noah Fleming, but he is going nowhere. Elphinston out of the ruck, handball to a teammate. It was right under the pump. That will lead to another stoppage. Elphinston reaches over the top of Howard. From the lake, Egger gets a kick clear up towards Brown. Couple to beat, and again across the line. So the Cats holding sway early on in this one. Yells from Hodgetts and Egger. Elphinston wins it down. Murray retreats. And the clear defensive 50. Well, spilling the mark there was Egger. And then turns it over to Bailey Bogue. So Bogue. Pinpoint down the line to Elphinston. Couldn't quite reach up, extending those long levers and reel it in. Fleming curls one towards half forward. The buyer's whistle again, sounding a free kick in favour of the Cats. It'll be Bakes with the opportunity. Send Wynyard inside 50 here. He drives it forward. Spoiled away from Howard. Howard recovered, got it at ground level, but then just turns it straight over to Dylan Smith. Smith up towards the wing. Now play again. It's going to be a free kick to Elphinston. Handball quickly, and Burnie will drive it inside the forward 50. They're well set up behind the ball, Wynyard, but clean bowled everyone. Brasendale first to it out the back. Some pressure comes from Brian. He escorts him across the line. French, surprisingly cast in the role as ruckman there for the Dockers. Still, Elphinston will get to the contest and be able to compete with Marshall. Kick out to Pringle. Now some good territory. Can Griffiths get to work here? Murray applied the tackle. Worked it back to Leafheber. Leafheber brought down by Murray. Good tackle. Very nicely done by Josh Murray. Wynyard were looking dangerous there. The kick not so tidy though. Straight to the player on the mark. He's able to skip free of Jackson in the end though. The kick is turned over. So Leafheber. See if he can be a bit tidy this time, going up towards the half forward line. Looked like a push out there against Jackson. Gets away with it. Drives it inside the forward 50. Looking for Howard. Howard with strength. Able to get clear. He'll get it back again here. Howard turns inside. Works it to Bakes. Bakes back on the outside. And that's a good effort from Pennington. Diving into smother. Elphinston pulled it down. Hacked forward. Floating deep into the pocket. Spoiled away. Smith emerges with the football. And an opportunistic goal there. Wynyard get their third. Ren Smith finishes it as it sparks it behind the play. Again, there's plenty of feeling out there. With all the goal scoring being done by the Cats at the moment. Just forced deep into the pocket here, unable to kill, and just spilt out perfectly for Smith waiting there. And he slams it through. They are off and running here at Wynyard. 3 goals to none in the opening term. A day where goal scoring is Going to prove difficult. Valuable early strikes. Both of them sliding in there. Looking up, egg up. Marshall want it down. Quick kick forward. Gathered by Pringle, left it behind Kubicki. Crafty just worked it down the line and happy to slide it out of play is Foreman. Slip and slide type action there. Quite happy to see it out and get the ball tossed back into play. Nice work there from Lions. Murray escaping. Marshall and Elphinston battling away. There are going to be a lot of stoppages in this one. You fancy Kubicki tries to spin free, but he's caught. Dylan Smith and Kubicki. Firing back, umpire says best way to break that up is just to toss it up and get the game going once more, but yet another stoppage. Bailey Bogue. Some high contact, umpire felt he ducked into it. Elphinston this time wins it down, slapped onwards. Patterson happy to just shove Pringle out of play and advance it a few metres. It's going to be that kind of a territory game for the most part. Not a day for pretty football. There's some tired bodies at the end of this one. Who will advance through to the preliminary final? No tomorrow for the loser. Kubicki flicks it out the back. Smith trying to work his way through. Fleming jumped down by French. Lefebvre trying to bring it under his spell. He was in there. Diving on top, Marshall. Shackleton and hands and knees trying to get it clear. Clean possession, so difficult for anyone to get at the moment. Elphinstone reaches over the top. Fleming has a bit of a fresh air swing. Pennington slides in and Marshall immediately claims him. Stoppage after stoppage. And lurching between them here at the moment. Marshall just punched one out the back of the contest. Not much on that kick from French. Lefebvre hacks it out of there. Presenting up nicely was Griffiths, but he spilt the beans. Towed forward by Jackson. Patterson clattered into there by Lyons. And he'll get the free kick. So Patterson heads wide. Spoiled away. And back into the middle of the ground. Just thumped off the deck inside the forward 50. Handball back to Elphinston for a standing start. He snaps, and he snaps wide of the mark. Bo Sharman kick out duties, but a number change for Bo. 12 to 20. Here's a look and assesses his options here. Wants the players to mull the outer side. In the end, just opts to flick the handball and play the 1-2 with Brasendale. That'll get him a bit more territory. The kick now was plucked by Elphinston. Throwing a boot at it there was Egger. Marshall winning that one down. Bogue hacks it in the direction of Stretton. Stretton flicked it up. Bogue goes in once more, as does Pringle. Leafheber half cleared the area of the kick. Sliding in was Jackson. Eventually just cleared out of there by Fleming out the back. French ducks underneath the tackle of Howard. Got some high contact. So French just guides it. Finds O'Halloran. Haven't been too many uncontested marks, or marks indeed in general in this one today. So that one's spoiled away by Dowling. Looking out, Drozzards. And there is the quarter time siren, so it's been a bit of an ugly slog through the opening term. Given the conditions, that's probably all you can really expect. But Wynyard have done all the scoring. They've taken their opportunities. They've kicked 3-1 to lead by 15 points at the first break. And goals, well, get double. They could be worth triple here today. Not going to be easy to come by. Wynyard will be delighted with the start they've made in this one. Goals coming from Hodgetts, Egger and Smith. And really, a day where clean possession hard to come by. There's going to be stoppage after stoppage. It's going to be a real territory battle. And who is going to be able to go harder for longer in this one? A real physical grind. There's going to be some tired bodies by the end of it. As Wynyard have made the positive start, they lead this one by 15 points at the first change. On the angle, it's across the face. Off hands, it goes. Through for a... off again, it'll be 50 metres. Well, that'll gift them a goal here. Sharon Egger going to be marched right to the line. A bit of a spiteful opening here to this semi-final, but a good opening as take possession. Now back to Shackleton, high up and under towards the goals and slapped through for a behind by Braslear. Now an opportunity for Stretton, who launches from long range, but he's just offline. Elphinston pulled it down, hacked forward. Floating deep into the pocket, spoiled away. Smith emerges with the football and an opportunistic goal there. Wynyard get the deck inside the forward 50. Handball back to Elphinston for a standing start. He snaps, and he snaps wide of the mark. So back and ready to go with quarter number 2 here in Wynyard. The 15-point lead the way of the hosts after that opening term. Just tuning in, you can see the conditions. As wet as it gets. A very muddy middle of the park. Pretty tough. Any type of clean disposal. As when you look to go forward here, Hodgett's kick was smothered. Just volleyed out of mid-air creatively in there by Kubicki. Patterson gets there, but can't gather it cleanly initially. Then worked it onto French. French flicked it out the back, but turned it over. Let's keep going nowhere. High up and under around the corner. Almost a mark for Howard, and it's paid in fact. Umpire says he did enough. So Brandon Howard. As the rain gets even heavier to extend the lead to 21 points. He makes no mistake. In the driving rain, he drives it right through the middle, and just as they started quarter number 1, they start quarter number 2 with an early strike. As conditions continue to worsen, these goals are only going to be more and more valuable. A couple of jerks up to it into the contest, and the umpire said he did enough. He paid the mark. Let's have a look at that pooling going on. Proper wet weather football this. Back into the middle, Bailey Bowe. Can't wriggle free. Elphinston will reach down and handball it to the outside. McInnes didn't want to take possession of it, so just hacks it off the deck at the second time. Sharked by Kubicki. Ducks into the tackle of McInnes. Does well to get his kick forward. Sliding big Elphinston. Nice work from the big man below his knees. Difficult conditions for him at ground level. The kick, though, chopped off by Foreman. Into a contest, and that'll be intercepted. And the ball shut down there, getting across Bailey Bowe. It is torrential right now in Wynyard. Kubicki, tackled by French and Smith. And down there by Marshall. Stripping the football. And Sharman. Kick driven towards middle of the ground, and the mud slop that's turned into. Mark taken by Lefebvre. Heads wide. Tell you what, we're going to need all the cars in the background to get the lights on here soon. Increasingly harder to see. This one's launched forward. Just eludes Brown. These early goals from Wynyard looking like rolled gold right now. That could have been high contact. Umpire lets it go. Punched inside the forward 50. Danger here. They've lost a hold of the footy, and he's pinged Patterson. Advantage paid and seized. And Wynyard are out by 27 points here. We'll look at that again. Yeah, just lost a handle on the ball. Tough day to handle the football. The jumper grab from behind by Marley Brown. Ordered, and all of a sudden it's a pretty decisive break here at the moment. Burnie in dire need of a response. Tackle laid there by Murray. Bounces off the shoulder of Elphinston. Just hacked out of the contest. Wynyard on the attack again here. Kubicki tracking it. Just gets a little nudge to see him slide out of play. Pennington doing the defensive duties. Forced down there by Fleming, rolling towards the line. Sprawling effort down there from Griffiths, but slides on through for a minor score. Oh dear, shank of a kick, sliding in Pennington. The umpire will call for it. Marshall wins it down. Spins out French. He's not going to be able to escape. Umpire's whistle sounding. For a stoppage, quick whistle there. Could break the record for stoppages by full time here today. Another one coming up now. It's fair to say the Cats handling the conditions a bit better than the Dockers at the moment, and they're pushing for another one here as Marshall is brought to ground. Bailey Bogue just clears the congestion. We'll get 30 odd metres. Walters runs it across the line. 28 points. In this weather, that's a significant advantage. Burnie need to find a way to hit the scoreboard soon. Close battles between these sides this year. At the moment, Wynyard looking pretty comfortable. French is going to get the out of bounds on the full here and a chance to find off some territory. Something happened off the ball here. The umpires are going to conference. What that was about. Eventually French will take his kick. It's a long, ugly grubber. It is so hard to make clean contact with the ball at the moment. Bo tucked at about 5 metres. Then he got taken high by Lyons. Progressing the ball, proving nightmarishly difficult. Bogue thumps it up towards the forward 50. Walters chasing it. Knowing it was Kubicki, but he's going nowhere as the pushing and shoving resumes. Elphinston slapped it over the top. Towed clear by Liefheber. Another free kick's been blown. This one getting away of the Cats. Downfield paid to Jackson. Jackson, that's some clean ball use. He finds Pringle. Pringle just chisels one into the corridor. I don't know if it's the day for that sort of play. Pressure comes from Smith and Dowling. Get clearance here. No, they'll toss it up once more. Ilfenston just opts to volley it out of the ruck contest. Reaching in, Walters. It is a proper deluge in Wynyard. Marshall took it out of the ruck contest. Tossed up once again. Marshall. Towed clear as far as Shackleton, but he can't gather cleanly. Forced out by Leafheber. French flung about. Murray tracking this one. He's quickly surrounded. Paddled inboard by Smith. Flung away. Gets straight to Leafheber. Leafheber guides his side forward. Can Clay Griffiths get to work here? Shackleton did well in defence. French. Stratton couldn't gather. And he's just got to lay a tackle instead. Trying to bust on through his Shackleton. His kick ill-directed. Intercepted. Snapped on the boat. Going off the ground, O'Halloran. Towed forward into space. More of a soccer game than a football game. Last 30 seconds, just going off the ground, and why not? Want to pick the ball up and gain possession. There's a far lower percentage play than kicking it off the ground most of the time. Ilfenston slapped it down. Bryan applies the tackle. Egger getting up a little groggily. Marshall and slapped on. Out of there by Jackson. Way up and under. Jackson follows up and advances it further. Some more territory there. The water. Building up on the outside of the ground here. There's a river. Toss back in. Wynyard on the attack and firmly in the ascendancy. Jackson handling the conditions pretty well. Volleyed that. Is that a high contact free kick against Smith to Murray? Will be. So Josh Murray. Heads down the line. Bogue drifted in from the side. Couldn't complete the mark. Might get the free kick. Bogue just chips it over the top and finds Dylan Smith. Smith tries to slap it forward as far as he can. Quickly Smith trying to lock it in. Able to do so. Kubicki clears the area. Kick for territory. Umpire's whistle had sounded too. We're going to get a downfield free kick. That's valuable. Howard now can send them deep inside the forward 50. Tough to mark. Heaved out, Egger crashing in. Jackson hits the post on the full. 2 goals already today for Sharon Egger. Oh, spilt. That was fortunate for the Dockers, and French's kick just kind of blindly out of there. Down Bo Sharman, who just pumps the Cats back in, was searching for Brown. Hands and knees, he has to work it to the outside. Smith's handball was shut down. Egger diving in after it once again. Ilfenston reaches over the top, wins it down. Fleming couldn't gather cleanly. The hands and knees of Patterson, pumped on out of there by Smith, up towards a contest on the wing. Dockers able to advance it to half forward, but leading back in the race is Murphy. He'll slide to try and track it down, but it just eludes him. And the Dockers players suggesting maybe that was his intent all along. And O'Halloran able to convince the umpire of that. Marshall gets the better of Elphinston, bounced off Smith, recovered, can't get free, so just has to put boot on ball. Walters immediately stripped of it. Kubicki forces it forward, out the back Patterson tracking it, but it'll be Jackson. Again gets a kick off the ground. Then took it cleanly, Jackson. Kubicki tackled off it. Brown stripped of it. What he crash in once again. Kubicki. Leaf Herbert gets up with it. Ilfenston wins it down. Slowing through. Fleming and Smith lock it in once more. Continues to absolutely team down here in this NWFL semi-final. It's the Cats who've handled the conditions the better, leading it by 28. Which looks a sizable break. This weather doesn't let up. It hasn't all day. Not sure if it's going to clear up at all by the second half, but doesn't look like it, judging by those pictures. It's going to make clawing back this deficit extraordinarily difficult for the Dockers. Well situated are the Cats in this ugly slog of a game. Stoppage to stoppage it's been. So hard to get clean ball. Elphinston just toes it forward. Can Burnie get something inside 50 here? They punch it deep inside the forward line. Tracking it was Kenny. Losing his footing, Brian. And Walters tries to bust through, but he's sent to the deck. As close as they've been to the goals for a while here, the Dockers. They could do with a goal. Start the comeback. Bailey Bogue was shut down. Shackleton looked it across to Brian. His handball went nowhere. Body work came from Lyons. Brown flung it out to Kubicki, turns away, and Kubicki has been one who's handled the conditions with his kicking better than most. He's been able to get pretty good territory on most of his possessions. Stretton puts his body about. Lyons was there. The boundary line one out before Leifeber, who would escape with the footy. Elphinston takes front position. Marshall brings it down. Bogue flung himself at it. Kubicki paddles it out. Leafheber. That's going to be holding the footy. So a free kicked away of the Dockers here. So we're ticking to red time in the second quarter. Just search for their first goal. That's a nice kick. Found Harry Walters. And Walters able to progress it up to Elphinston. Jeez, that's a rare sight. 2 marks and kicks in a row. Has not happened very often today. They've been able to work it forward here, the Dockers. Can they find a third one inside the forward 50? Sea of bodies down there. And Brasendale just slings Oakley and shuts it down. A reasonable little period here, Burnie. Can they find a goal to show for it? Marshall reaches up. Wrestled clear by Drozzards. Clear the vicinity. Leafheber flung it out to Walters. And he locked in there again. Nick and Harry, hands on it for Burnie. Elphinston, have a handball over the top. Smith flicks it over the top, just running out of real estate is Brian. Elphinston, take it out of the ruck. Slipping through his hands, Bogue on the bottom of the pack. Slick handball, Bailey Bogue with a flying shot at goal, but it's just offline. That would have been something spectacular in these conditions, but not to be for the Dockers. They could have used a moment of magic from their star on baller, Bailey Bogue, but just the behind, their 5th of the contest. Wynyard 5 goals too. Sitting pretty at the moment as Sharman will just launch this. Caught that as clean as anyone's caught a kick all day. Brown hooks it to the outside. First to it, Gonanen. Then Pennington arrives to force it over the line. Here's some sounds. Which way is it going? It's thrown back in. Forward by Smith. Both of them goes off the deck, but Brian couldn't hold on to the mark. Recovers and curls a high ball, but Brasendale was packed behind it and able to intercept. Near and kick. Triple across the line. Elphinston, Shackleton through the contest. Leafheber just heads wide. And then the boundary line wins out as Brasendale slides through the pool. Elphinston with the decisive fist to clear the area, but all set up behind the ball. Will Wynyard Bogue able to steal that one and tumble one inside the forward 50. Trying to get to work is Smith. Slapped onwards. Reaching in Kenny, ball slings out. Both of them manufactures a kick, opting not to mark, but just spoil it was Weller. Again, it's across the line. Wynyard defence holding up well, and they've got some defending to do in the last 10 minutes or so. It's comfortably been Burnie's best period of the game. They haven't been able to find a goal to show for it. Desperately need one before the half-time siren, you fancy. Some woodwork work again from Elphinston. Again, it's locked in there, and again, we'll have another stoppage. Just a hard slog of a game, this. North Rucks get a good leap at it. Marshall won that one down, and it's blasted up towards the middle of the ground. It's marked there by Pennington. Just tried to guide the kick. Almost playing on with Shackleton, thought better of it. Now he drives it into the pocket. Umpire's whistle sounds. It must have been the siren for half-time. Quite picked that sound up. Fair bit of noise from the rainfall, but that is half-time at the ground. And Burnie with it all to do in the second half. Wynyard, the hosts, handling the conditions better. It has been played in an absolute downpour. It's been an ugly slog of a game. Certainly not conditions conducive to pretty football. But if you're a Cats fan, that's a pretty looking scoreboard. They lead at half-time, 5-2-32 to Burnie, 5 straight behinds. We'll see if conditions improve in the second half. I'm not sure they will. Burnie are going to need to find some avenues to goal, or it will be the Cats moving on. They're well positioned at the half. Back soon with quarter number 3. Almost a mark for Howard, and it's paid in fact. Umpire as the rain gets even heavier to extend the lead to 21 points. He makes no mistake. In the driving rain. That could have been high contact. Umpire lets it go. Punched inside the forward 50. Danger here. They've lost a hold of the footy, and he's pinged Patterson. Advantage paid and seized. And Wynyard forced down there by Fleming, rolling towards the line. Sprawling effort down there from Griffiths, but slick handball. Bailey Bogue with a flying shot at goal, but it's just offline. That would have been something spectacular in these conditions. So back for a second half here in Wynyard. The deluge continues. If anything, it's gotten darker during the halftime break, so no abating of the conditions for the second half. Burnie in arrears by 27 points. If they're going to keep their season alive, going to need to find an avenue to goal. It's a sizable break given the conditions for the Cats. Burnie will have first use of it here. Halloran trying to get the ball, but it's a bar of soap already. Smith lofts it inside forward 50. Just hits the puddle and stops, and it's going nowhere. Extraordinary conditions for this semi-final. It was hacked on out of there to Pringle. He takes the mark. Rare occasion this has been. He kicks to a contest. Spike towards the ground. Bogue trying to get it clear. Walters went in support. Eggers in support here. Will taking out of play there. And Sharon Egger kicked 2 goals in the first half for Wynyard. It's going to be tough sledding for Burnie. 5 goals of their own in this half, let alone keeping Wynyard off the scoreboard in the process. Here's Stratton. Much purchase on that. Egger goes in again. Leaf Heather got it out to Bakes. Bakes tumbles one again, just stops. That's a good move, I reckon. Brown just slaps it off the deck and gains 30 metres. I think it'd be a more effective way of transitioning the football than kicking it, just getting in there with a fist and belting it. It's going to continue to be a real territory battle as the water continues to pool ever more on the surface here. Bogue just knees it to Egger. Tracking it is Murray. And he walks across the line. Stratton stripped of it. Battle again at ground level. Diving in was Bakes. He extract the football. The umpire lets it go. And then eventually the whistle does arrive. Marshall off his chest. Bogue takes the football but can't escape. Elphinston palms it down. Banks on top of it. Draws the crowd. Elphinston. Walter. Going nowhere once more. Marshall wins this one down. Pringle. High ball drifts wide. Griffith tracking it. Leafhever forces it back inside 50 via hand, but Adocker's able to clear. Kenny, 2 to contend with. French lays the tackle. Ball's spun out the back. French somehow merges with it, able to get a clearing kick up the wing. O'Halloran. Just a handle on it. French goes back in again. Repeat efforts from a Mig French. Kubicki handled out the back and then belted up towards the forward 50. Mark Spilt. The battle will resume again at ground level. Walters flicked it out the side. Some strength shown there from Sharman. Botham. And then Dowling locks it in. So Burnie able to advance the ball up to there, into the ground. There's a battle of attrition. This second half is going to be just a physical slog. Less skill-based and more just physical brute forcing it from contest. That could be high contacts. Umpire doesn't pay it. Cleared away by Hodgetts. Handled out the back in the direction of McInnes. He uses Smith, who tries to get round Leafhever. Can't do. He's going to be pinged. Tommy Leafhever sticks the tackle. Wins the free kick and immediately hands off to Kubicki, who tries to launch a torpedo. Went right down the corridor. Trying to get free is Gonanen. Marshall reaches down to gather, but Botham tackles him. Cleared up towards the middle of the ground, just towed off the deck once more. Botham paddles it across, but arriving to win the ball is Bailey Bogue. Sliding in there. Elphinston. Spiked away by Fleming. Leafhever couldn't gather it. Patterson. Egger gets shirt fronted by Smith. Back to the middle of the ground. Stretton tried to go off the ground. He won't find the football. Stretton did, but he's immediately caught by Pringle. Draws a throw and a free kick, and it kicks off again. All these tough coming together has led to a bit of spite in the game. A physical contest. Meanwhile, play resumes. Pringle with a low worm burner. Smith guides one up and taking a mark is Walters. It's about a second mark for the quarter. Gets it off to Smith, slapped it on the boot, and Smith has no direction whatsoever on the kick. It drifts out of bounds on the full. Not an easy day to move the ball from the last line of defence. So Sharman plays the 1-2. And just finesses the free man in the back pocket there. Just goes long, intercepted though. The Dockers with a chance to go forward again. Spoiled away by Foreman. Get over the football from Murray. Elphinston wins it down. Leafheber flung it out to Hodgetts. High, wide, and free kick's blown though in favour of the Cats. They can head down the wing here. Well, it's a great mark from Marshall. He's called to play on though, stepped off his line and stepped into trouble, but he's able to get around Murray and get a kick forward. Flying high was Jackson, spilled out the back. 4:50 stoppage upcoming. So the rain continues to tumble in Wynyard. One down by Marshall, Kubicki kicks it backwards. Might be 15, no point trying to mark it. Bogue coming through, but his jumper pulled. Pennington shut down by Lyons. Lyons to Kubicki. Kubicki trying to shrug free, opted just to hand it off in the end. Burnie will go back the other way. Thumping kick up towards half forward. Will it sit for Dowling? It does. He just whacks it on the boot and sends it deep, but it's all Wynyard back there. That is deliberate, not under pressure, surely. Oh, how's he got away with that, Bo Sharman? I'm not sure how that was adjudged to be under pressure. Very fortunate indeed for mine. I mean, Brian was nowhere near him. He's got to be he's within 15 of the goal. He's just socketed it straight through and no one near him. Burnie, you're feeling a little bit aggrieved by that, I would think. Dire need of a goal. And 26 points the margin. Marshall takes front spot. Sliding through Bogue, couldn't get the football. Umpire's whistle sounds. Free kick. Getting the way. Oh, Vega. Just play a little bit of possession football for the time being. It's been a day where that's been pretty hard to generate. Now they'll send it forward. Fly from Howard behind, couldn't get there. Brown knocked it on. Jackson fighting valiantly, outnumbered. And over the shoulder called. It'll be a free kick going the way of the Cats again. Drives it deep. Clean was Howard. His kick shut down, and holding the ball is the goal. The Burnie defence holds on. Murray. Long off hands out the back to Marshall, who sends it right back from whence it came. Smith spills it. Murray. They repel. Drozids. Get it back. It's pumped back in for a third successive time. Pressure mounting on the Dockers defence here. Walters is able to hook it clear up towards French in the middle of the ground, who just toes it forward, couldn't bring it under his spell, so just went off the deck. Ducking into trouble is Weller, and ping for high contact. The Weller's free kick. What the crowd thought of it. Quite getting the rub of the green at the moment, the Dockers, as this one is wide through the hands of Smith. And a play. $26 points to lead. Yet to get a goal, Burnie. They're going to need at least 5. Well, probably 4. You imagine kicking goals straight Might be tough to be some behinds in there, but it looks a tall order in these conditions. Wynyard very nicely poised at the moment. Going off a preliminary final berth. Smith through the mulling water and out of play. Reaches over the top. Bogue hooks it round the corner. Tackle laid by Shackleton. Eggers ducking under. And they're able to force it out of there again up towards the half-forward line. Dowling doing the body work. Here's French. French's handball well shut down by Foreman. It's not Burnie being able to get in, but well, the kick off the deck from Weller. Deceived too with its lack of real distance on it. Just caught in that water again. Fooled a couple. And another stoppage forthcoming. Smith. Ilfenston runs it down, volleyed back towards the middle of the ground. Which was tracking it. Now a chance to go forward for the Dockers. And the snap over the shoulder from Dowling is good. It's a goal. And the Dockers get there first of the contest. Geordie Dowling did it ever so well. Just able to get it in there, and for once it was an inside 50. There weren't 20 bodies all around the ball and taking advantage. Very clean in the conditions there was Dowling. And a timely goal for Burnie. They needed that one. They had to get something on the scoreboard. They've been pushing this quarter. They get there first. It's still a long way back. But finally they break through. Get a first goal of the contest halfway through. Probably beyond halfway now. The third quarter. And that sparked them. Marshall tried to clear the kick. It was swatted away from him. He had the better of this term, Burnie. He's certainly on top in the first half. Absolute mud bath in the middle as Bailey Bogue just smashes it on the boot and sends it inside 50 again. Brasendale tracking. They all slide into the lake there at half forward. O'Halloran wants a high contact free kick, and he gets it. Certainly a little bit of momentum for the Dockers. That was a poor option. Intercept taken. Really give Smith a play there. That won't be 15. It won't be a mark. Egger taken high, was he? No. Play on the call. Egger looks up and says, why not? Marshall wins it down. Bailey Bogue clears the vicinity. Can he find a mark? French, oh, he got to the ball. He just couldn't reel it in. Well, it's it for Robotham. Does, but he spun the full 360. Handball and kicked back towards Marshall. Went in, won a hard ball. Handball taken by McInnes. McInnes moved it on to Walters. Walters tried to slap it clear, but just getting no purchase on these kicks off the ground, and slaps just gets stuck in all that water, and between it all, a free kick's been paid to Kobe Jackson, who's handled the conditions as well as anyone out there today. Somebody's mass again on the wing. Ilfenston reaches over the top. Bogue. Progress it. Smashed out of there by Marshall. French. Looks it forward. Egger was there. Handball from Walters. Kenny lurking but cleared away. Pringle was on the scene. Off the deck goes Pennington. Pringle then a handball it back in the Leafhaber direction. Kubicki looks at Ford. We go in again with another effort and a handball out of the traffic. It was taken by Walters. He was immediately besieged. Got back to French, and French found Kenny on the outside. Kenny, his kick shut down by Murphy. And Emig French came in, won the ball back for the Dockers, and now look to send it inside 50 again. Drozzers just has to sit under that one. An uncomfortable feeling in these conditions. And the shot is across the face, and it'll be tossed back into play. The crowd very much a get as far under cover as you can type operation for the spectators today. That'll occupy the cars around the boundary line. Heinous weather here in Wynyard as Elphinston takes it out of the ruck contest. Somehow gets boots the ball. Unable to keep it in is Brian. Windscreen wipers in full operation for the cars behind the goals there. Elphinston wins it down. Kubicki punched it. Elphinston again get clean possession and then able to clear the area. Howard was working up the ground. Patterson sends it back inside the forward 50. Bailey Bogue. His kick was shut down. Walters dives in. More argy-bargy, pushing and shoving out there. Elphinston down towards Walters. Walters trying to get clear, just lost a handle on the football in the process. Now Leafhaber looks to turn back the other way. Handball across. And now Kubicki. Kubicki guides it down the wing, but he guides it straight to Josh Murray. Murray. Sold a little candy and then drove it up towards half forward and juggling the mark. Bailey Bogue, no, not paid the mark. Yes, he is eventually. No. There's a bit to say about that Bailey Bogue. The umpire calls the ball up. Elphinston, bust his way through. Look at the amount of water on the ground there. Marshall. Bogue. Kubicki pressures him. Across the line it goes. $20 points, the Cats' advantage, those early goals. Looking like a rolled goal right now. Griffiths goes back in for it. Did well, Clay Griffiths. No one fought to the ball for him though. It was only Eli French back there, so he has time to recover his fumble and then drive it up the ground. Trying to stop it was O'Halloran. Now reaching down Leafhaber, but now by the time he has it, he's besieged. Ball somehow slips out of there. And Stretton able to kick one round the corner, sliding in Marshall. Bogue happy to try and lock it in. Down, right off the ground by Smith. Smith just worked it forward further. Another stoppage. Just one goal one this quarter as Smith is dispossessed. Free kick paid, so a 20-point lead. Look, Wynyard, in all honesty, might not have to score again. They might already have enough to win this game. But he would certainly feel they need another one maybe before three-quarter time as he uncorks the genie. Creatively over the top from Brown. Edmonton worked it there, and body on the line from Pringle. Kubicki couldn't gather cleanly. Bogue did. Turns it around the corner. Pringle goes in again. Heaves it out. Picked off the deck. Marshall was expecting it just to roll a little further than it did. Bogue trying to bullock his way through. Just dropped the football. Then stripped Jackson of it in turn. Gathered by Fleming, who just clears the congestion. That's a really good mark from Clay Griffiths, who springs to his feet. The kick, though, can find the intended target. Shut down back there by Kenny. Kenny's kick spilt by Murphy. That might invite in Kenny, not quite. Forward by Smith. Pressure came from behind by Drozids. And out into space it goes. Stretton tearing out after it. So too was Gonanen, decided not to take possession. Now Bryan, he's stripped of it, and that's ball. So Murphy rewarded. Oh, spun around Hodgetts, just got the handball away in time. Now arriving is Emig French. Escaping with the football, Walters screws it round the corner. Which is again following up. Let's fly from long range, shut down by Brasendale. Pressure came from Smith from behind. Smith will gather. Can he get the shot away? He snaps from the angle. Smith! Oh, so close. But a minor score only. We've travelled 25 minutes in the third quarter. A 19-point advantage the way of Wynyard. Burnie been on top this quarter, but scoring just continues to prove nigh on impossible. Ilfenston rises, but won it down to Kubicki. Kubicki got it to Leafheber. His handball picked out Bailey Bogue, who toes one off the ground, and there's the siren for three-quarter time. And still, it's the Cats with a sizable lead of 19 points. They're on the back foot, really, from about the 5-6 minute mark onwards in that quarter. It was all Burnie. They did manage to get one goal, but as it stands, a 19-point lead might well already be enough for Wynyard. Burnie are going to need at least 3 goals in the final quarter. That might prove beyond them. They've only managed 1 for the contest. I suppose Wynyard did get 3 in the opening quarter, although conditions are at their best then. Not that they've been anything close to resembling good all afternoon, but look, it's a handy break. They might not need to score again, Wynyard. Burnie with it still all to do. That was, I don't know how that wasn't a free kick against Sharman. Looking at the replay of that one, Burnie will feel they probably should have been given a goal there, but wasn't to be. They did manage to get one eventually. This tidy snap round the corner from Dowling. They're going to need more of that in the last. Maybe the rest of the highlights, not that there were too many in this ugly scrap of a game in WFL men's semi-final action. It's Wynyard by 19 points with 1 to play. The angle, Smith, oh, so close. But a minor score.
You can't do it. We won't watch either.
I want to edit it first.
All right.
Around the corner and reaching in was Elphinstone. Flicks it up in the direction of Smith. The Dockers need an early goal. They've got some hard work to do if they're going to get 3 at least in this final term and come over the top of the Cats. One more would probably kill it if it isn't already over. There's Wynyard on the attack early on here. Killed one back into the corridor. Bogue out after it. First to it, Howard. Kubicki. That's ball. Just took a step and he was gone. Stretton to his teammate and Elphinstone try and get something going off half back. Rain looking as light as it's been all day. The ground still absolutely covered in water. Conditions going to be very, very tough, but this is probably as good a conditions as we've had all match at the moment. Handling the body there was Egger. That will give Burnie some hope, but it'll be tough sledding for them. Elphinstone wins it down. Kubicki coming through. Went off the deck, not too much purchase on that one. On the back of the contest. Wynyard floated towards half forward. Kubicki can gather. Kubicki curling one back towards the teeth of goal. Spoiled down. Smith was lurking off the deck. Went Leafheber. Howard lays the tackle. And it'll be tossed up deep in attack for Wynyard. One more goal might well put them out of reach here, given these conditions. I think the Ruck can get a hand to the ball. Some pressure coming from Howard. Boy, gives it an eternity and eventually it spills out. Bogue locks it in. And the Cats pushing early here in quarter number 4. Elphinston slapped it into the puddle. Another stoppage ensues. And then by Marshall. Walters couldn't handle it cleanly. Egger has too. Elphinston. Like they wouldn't mind rushing it behind here. Walters lost a handle on it. The snapshot from Fleming won't carry the journey. And surely they can't pay that one after not paying the one the previous quarter as Smith just pokes it through his own goals. Preston well and truly set last quarter on that front. At least a man within 2 metres of him on that occasion as Foreman takes the mark for Wynyard. He'll happily settle things down and take his full amount of time. Time very much an ally of Wynyard here. Bogue hacked the kick. Mark was spilt. Handball too sharp for Foreman. He retreats back for Sharman. Returned it to Foreman. Foreman tumbles a low grubber up towards the half-forward line. Dowling kicked his side's lone goal of the contest. Then Rebotham worked it out to Smith. High ball, it's wide, tracking it is Brian, but just running out of room. So the rain basically halted for now. Damage well and truly done in terms of the conditions, though. Lefebvre into the middle of the ground. Will Shackleton get there first? No, Kubicki beat him to it. And built for these sorts of conditions, Kubicki, tough, combative player. Back towards the middle of the ground. Guinness tracking it, just towed it off the deck cleverly, had some support and used it, and they'll launch it down the corridor here. A spiralling ball, which is nicely intercepted by Keegan Weller. Weller drives it down the middle, falls out the back for Lefebvre. Lefebvre steadies, slides it inside 50 and slides it all the way home. And that might be the knockout blow from Tommy Lefebvre. The first goal of the final quarter goes to the Cats. And in these conditions, 26 points. Looks pretty insurmountable. It just slipped out the back for him. He looked up, saw a wide open forward line, just guided the kick. Expertly done by Tommy Lefebvre. And well, I say Cats don't like the water, but the Wynyard Cats have handled these conditions just fine. And a 26-point lead. Looks pretty emphatic now. Certainly going to be very, very tough for the Dockers. Wynyard looking perfectly poised to move on to the preliminary final, barring something miraculous. They need now to find 5 goals. They've kicked only 1 today, as Bogue's kick is intercepted. Wide ball to Jackson. A good game. There's Kirby Jackson. See, every time they do take a mark, they're taking their full amount of time, and why not? As much clock as possible. They could be holding the footy in favour of Shackleton. It will be. As Howard dispossessed on the wing. Attempted Torp, didn't really catch that one right. Jackson lost a handle on it, regathered it though. And slides it forward, looking for Griffith. Clay Griffith Slid in beautifully, worked it to Lyons. Lyons snaps it, but snaps wide of the mark. Walters saunters out of the back pocket, but kick found its way through to French. Stretton. His kick intercepted by Murphy. Well, I'm not sure Sharman was his intended target, but it works out nicely. Plucks that one to Sharman. And will be in no hurry. And he'll just drive it as deep as he can. Spilled off hands, Lyons. Slap it on ball. Bogue fed it out to Stretton. Bogue goes in again, tried to get a kick out of the traffic. Leafhammer at the back, goes off the ground. Kubicki in the goal square seals it. It'll be Wynyard in the preliminary final. Callum Kubicki extends the lead. They're surely well out of reach now. Wynyard started the game in strong fashion and finishing in a similar manner. They've just handled the conditions a little better than the Dockers. And Callum Kubicki with a wide open goal says thank you very much. It'll be the Cats marching on to the preliminary final against Ulverston. He did enter the game as the higher ranked team. Finished third, Burnie fifth, but Burnie had beaten them 2 out of the 3 times prior. That'll be Ulverston v Wynyard. The right to play off against, well, an untouchable looking Devonport team. It'll take something spectacular to defeat them in the grand final. What a dominant season they've had. 16 out of 16, a percentage of over 400. 50-point win over Ulverston in the qualifying final. Kubicki and Wynyard are going to have a crack at Ulverston next week. They fell well and truly short last week. Good match at Ulverston, 45 points down. We'll see what conditions are like. They might want another downpour given the way they've handled things here today. Leafhammer taken without it. It might be an opportunity here for Howard. Slings it over his shoulder and just misses. Yeah, pretty unique circumstances for this football game, these conditions. Really different sort of football game as they go right down the middle and Dylan Smith takes it. They're going to keep moving it as fast as they can. But they have to find 6 goals in 15 or so minutes. Surely seems an impossibility. Wynyard Cats have just handled this deluge better, particularly early on. Burnie fought their way back. They were really good in the third quarter, but they're just so far behind. And Wynyard have come out strong here in the final term, looking to kill the game off. Around the corner from Rabotham, but marked back there by Drozzards. Lays a Shepherd for Sharman, who heads 2 wide for Brassendale. Marshall knocked down. Murphy was there at ground level, fed a handball out. Back the other way via the boot of Pennington. And French skips through and he's just offline. Short ball for Smith, who's just completely outmanned there in acres of space at half-back. His kick, a great one, but found its way through to Weller. Advances it up the line and just sits on the wing. Waits for Murray to arrive, gets across, fed it to McInnes. Pitches, both of them coming through Dylan Smith. Just too much on it for O'Halloran, who pressures and sees it out of play. Well, the wettest games of footy I've seen in some time. Certainly the wettest one I've called this year. It's been absolute deluge out there today. And the Cats have handled conditions well. There's a big spiral from Kubicki. Almost a sliding mark taken there by Marley Brown. Ilfenston down. Floating ball. Dowling couldn't quite reel it in. Hodgetts lost a hold of it, and then Stretton chips it down the line. Plenty of work there to get it to Fleming. Lions no purchase on the soccer attempt. Clean below his knees there was Walters, at least initially. Now Rebotham slaps it on the boot. Tracking it is Smith. Murphy did just enough to put him off. Advantage paid. Smith takes the advantage, drives it in, and hits up the big French. Who slides in, takes the mark, immediately springs to his knees. He knows time is of the essence, and he wastes absolutely none in stroking it through the middle. And gets Burnie second of the contest. Cuts the margin to 26, which even in bright sunshine would be an uphill endeavour. In this weather, nigh on impossible. Back to the middle. 26 points the advantage for Wynyard. Ulverston await them a rematch in next week's preliminary final. They'll certainly be battle hardened after this one. Probably a bit physically bruised too. It's been a taxing day. As Leafhever is penalised. Free kick going the way of Harry Walters. He tries the torpedo. Thumps it deep. Mark just spilled. Brasendale. Out of there by Murphy. Walters backtracking, couldn't keep a handle on it. Leafhever just punches it forward. Punched it straight to Gonanon though. Walters absolutely covered in mud. Some slick hands got it to Rebotham, who drives them deep inside 50 again, but they're well set up back there. The Cats. Sharman was able to get across and snavel it, and then guy to kick there to Marshall. And they'll just try and play possession football, which again is very, very difficult in the current state of the ground in football. Just happy to run clock wherever possible now, the Cats. They're almost at the finish line. Ilfenston takes front position. And he kicks it straight out of bounds on the full. Balled away from Elphinston. Paddled towards the line and out of play. Shallow throw pitches ahead of both rucks. Bogue at ground level has been combative as ever in there, battling away, doing the hard stuff. And Wynyard ultimately just a bit cleaner with their possessions today, and particularly early on, got the jump on them. Feels like it's been harder work to advance the ball from the Dockers for much of the afternoon. Marshall thumps it forward. Murray handled it out to Patterson. Deflects off of Murphy. Jackson get his kick away. The handball clear out there to Leafhaber. Leafhaber will send them forward once again. Best positioned was McInnes. He couldn't handle the mark. He wants to rush the behind here. In the end, doesn't have to. Kubicki opting to just sit off him. Clever from Kubicki. Give him the chance to rush it. Might lead to a Kubicki goal too. That's a throw. Just scooped it. Tunnel wall style there, Callum Kubicki. Bogue wanted a return handball, won't get it. McInnes will take the kick and again tries the torpedo. Sock it off the deck. There by Brasendale. Murphy just keeps it in motion. And then he's happy. Shove Pennington out of bounds. Sting pretty much out of this one now when you know they're advancing. "32 points over to amass early on. Pretty insurmountable, and they've added a couple more in the final term. And they put their fifth goal up early in quarter number 2. 5-1-31 after 4.5 minutes in the second term. There's 4 goals in total in the match since then, 2 apiece for either side. 2 in this final quarter. Wynyard have slammed the door shut, but basically had enough scoring done inside the first quarter and a few minutes of the second. The match-winning score was kicked at that point. As conditions just got heavier and heavier and heavier, moving the ball became all the harder. They did the job early on, did the Cats, and they're going to march on as a result. Zega is penalised there. Free kicked away by O'Halloran, feeds it to Bogue. And Bogue just blasting it forward through hands. French scooped it up to Smith, trying to get it onto his boot. And just dropped it, and that'll be ball. Sharman hits the free kick. Spilt there by Brasendale. Crashing in there. O'Halloran as it's down the line. Murphy dropped the mark, recovered, and then he too is robbed of the football. Holding the ball, advantage paid. The Dockers drive it in the Smith direction. He tossed up into red time here in the final quarter. I think it'll be the longest quarter. The last one was only 25 minutes. So not many goals taking time off the clock. That was clean from Smith. He sets it up towards the teeth of goal. And happy to just soccer it through for a behind. Sharman turns it over. Straight there to Walters. Or they're going to say he juggled it over the line. They're going to conference here, the umpires. And that is what they've ruled. Stiff for Nick Walters. And it'll be tossed back in. Marshall thumps it back from whence it came. I'll toss it in once more. Elphinston paddles it. Slapped inside 50. Egger tracks it. Fired out the handball. The second handball just a bit too sharp for Sharman. Here are goals in the first half for Sharon Egger. 2 of those first 5 that set things up very nicely. Let's help the Cats get the job done here and earn a crack at redemption against the Robins next weekend. That could be paid. And is that going to be 50 against Hodgetts? Gets away with it. Set up kick is taken by Brasendale, but there are multiple hands on the ball, so it won't be paid the mark. Bogue through heavy traffic. A few times he's been able to get a kick away. Barley Bogue, he's got a few behinds today, just hasn't quite been able to direct these efforts. Pretty tough to do so. He's well getting boot to ball in heavy traffic around goal. Bogue just hasn't been able to split the middle with any of them. Weller drives it long, but turns it over to Brian. And sliding effort there from Pringle. As it kicks off between he and O'Halloran. There have been plenty of spot fires throughout this one, and Noah Fleming comes in, says don't do anything silly here. Minutes away from victory. No need to do anything silly and get yourself rubbed out of a preliminary final next week. Don't be goaded into that. As Marshall hands it off, but a whistle had sounded already. Free kick's going to go the way of Rebotham. Sets it up. And it's nicely plucked there. It was a good ball from Rebotham. So an opportunity for Dylan Smith. And he's going to be marched to the goal square, and that'll make an absolute, well, I won't say certainty in these conditions, but should just about make a certainty of it for Dylan Smith. And he does. Chip it over the top, or is he going to? More questioning looks at the umpires. What's going on off the ball here? I don't think that goal is going to count. I think something happened off the ball here. I think Burnie player might have whacked a Wynyard player, and Wynyard are going to get the free kick and be marched 50 metres from where that occurred. So we're 100 metres. Looks like Sharman's going to get it. Some confusion as to what on earth is going on here. Bit of a chaotic end to this game. So it looks like something's happened well off the ball. So Wynyard had been given the free kick at the spot of that as Smith was lining up for a certain goal, and then they've also been given 50. And they might get a goal out of it too. Leafhammer puts it wide. Well, bit of a scrappy ending to what has been a scrappy, ugly game of football in the wet. This one is marked nicely by Foreman. The Cats only have to grab a late goal here to add to the score. It'll be Ren Smith with the opportunity. Siren can't be far away here. And he missed the opportunity to close the score a little bit at the other end. Instead, Smith with the opportunity to make it a 5-goal margin at the other. There's the siren. So Smith told not to go off his mark. It'll be the final kick of the game before the Cats can celebrate progression through to the preliminary final. Smith just making sure he's on the same page, the umpires, in terms of what the angle is and not moving off it. He wants a goal here to go home happy with. What will the final margin be? Ren Smith, the last kick of the game. Hangs it near post, but it won't matter. It'll be a 26-point victory for the Wynyard Cats. 7-6-48. They defeat the Burnie Dockers 2-10-22. Their season comes to an end in an absolute deluge in Wynyard. It was an absolute bog, heavy conditions, driving rain for most of the afternoon. And it was the Cats who handled the conditions the better. They had 5 goals on the board by the 4.5-minute mark of the second quarter. And from there, they had an advantage that the Dockers never really looked like they were able to claw back. Wynyard added a couple more for good measure in the final term. Put a bit more emphasis on the final score. A 26-point victory. A chance at redemption for Wynyard next week. A rematch with Ulverston awaits them. And then the winner of that, well, the all-conquering Devonport Magpies awaiting the grand final there. They'll be red-hot favourites. That one will head for you next week. A successful day for the host, Wynyard, getting the job done over Penguin. Bit more of an upset, that one, in the women's game earlier. So they take out both games. It'll be a celebration for the Cats in the club rooms as they enjoy a very successful day of finals football. I've been Andrew calling the action. A wet Wynyard. Pleasure bringing the action to you. Hope you enjoyed the coverage. Until next week, it's bye for now. It's absolutely none in stroking it through the middle. Clean from Smith. He sets it up towards the teeth of goal. Happy to just soccer it through for a behind. Bogue through heavy traffic. There's a few times he's been able to get a kick away. Barley Bogue, he's got a few behinds today. Sets it up. And it's nicely plucked there. It was a good ball from Robotham. And he's going to be marched to the goal square, and that'll make an absolute, well, I won't say certainty in these conditions, but should just about make a certainty of it for Dylan Smith, and he does. Chip it over the certain goal, and then they've also been given 50. And they might get a goal out of it too. Leafhammer puts it wide. And this one is marked nicely by Foreman. The Cats wanting up to grab a late goal here to add to the score. It'll be Ren's final margin B. Ren Smith, the last kick of the game. Hangs it near post, but it won't matter. It'll be a 20.